Welcome back to Euthenia Travels, where we explore the hidden corners and untold stories of our world. Globe today, we dive deep into the heart of California, the Golden State with a dark secret. That's right, we're talking about homelessness, the invisible epidemic that's swept across this sunny state. Let's be real, California's got some serious beauty. The sandy beaches, towering redwoods, and stunning mountains make it one of the most Instagrammable places on Earth. But amidst all that natural glory, a darker side lurks. California is known for its thriving tech industry, celebrity culture, and laid-back lifestyle. But underneath that shiny veneer, a crisis is brewing. Homelessness has reached epidemic levels, with tent cities springing up in major cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco. It's like a gritty, real-life game of, "Where's Waldo?" But instead of a striped shirt and beanie, you're looking for the telltale signs of homelessness. Package. So, why are the streets of California filled with homeless people? Let's unravel the story, one thread at a time. First off, California's housing market is hotter than a chili pepper on a summer day. Prices are skyrocketing faster than Jeff Bezos' net worth, making it nearly impossible for the average Joe to find affordable housing. So, if you're a struggling single mom, a young adult just starting out, or a veteran trying to reintegrate into society, finding a place to call home in Cali can be as tough as finding a needle in a haystack. It's like the housing market is playing a cruel game of musical chairs, and some people are left standing when the music stops. Musical note. And speaking of rising costs, California's rent prices are so high, they could give the Empire State Building a run for its money. It's like landlords are charging by the sunshine hour or something. But here's the kicker. Wages haven't kept pace with the rising cost of living. So, even if you've got a steady job, it might not be enough to cover the exorbitant rent prices. It's like trying to catch a runaway horse with a carrot on a stick. Carrot. So what happens when you can't afford rent? You end up on the streets, that's what. But it's not just about money. Mental illness and drug addiction are also major factors in California's homelessness crisis. The state has seen a dramatic increase in the number of people suffering from mental illness and addiction, and without proper support and resources, many end up on the streets. It's a vicious cycle. Many homeless people turn to drugs and alcohol to cope with the stress and trauma of living on the streets, which only exacerbates their mental health issues. It's like trying to climb out of a hole with a shovel made of jello. Spoon. And let's not forget about the impact of gentrification. As cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco undergo rapid development and gentrification, affordable housing is becoming increasingly scarce, displacing many low-income residents. It's like the urban planners are playing a twisted game of Monopoly, and the low-income residents are the ones getting kicked out of the game. Office building. So, what does the government do about all this? Well, that's a loaded question, folks. Let's just say it's been a bumpy ride. California has tried to tackle homelessness in a variety of ways, from providing temporary shelters to offering addiction treatment and mental health services. But despite these efforts, the crisis continues to worsen. In 2019, California's Governor Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency and pledged to spend $1.7 billion over a span of 4 years to address homelessness. That's more money than the GDP of a small island nation. Money bag. But has it worked? Well, that's a bit of a gray area. One issue is that California's approach to homelessness has been fragmented and disjointed. Different cities and counties have different policies, making it difficult to implement a statewide strategy. It's like trying to herd a pack of cats, only the cats are actually municipalities and the shepherd is the government. And let's not forget the NIMBY, not in my backyard, syndrome. Many residents are opposed to having homeless shelters or affordable housing in their neighborhoods, which limits the options for solving the crisis. It's like the whole, love thy neighbor, but not if they're living on the streets, thing. And then there's the question of enforcement. California has seen a push to criminalize homelessness, with cities passing ordinances that ban sleeping in public spaces or panhandling. But many argue that this approach is ineffective and even counterproductive, as it penalizes people for being homeless without addressing the root causes of homelessness. It's like trying to cure a headache with a sledgehammer. So, where does that leave us? Well, California's homelessness crisis is a complex problem that will require a multifaceted solution. To effectively address the crisis, California needs to address the underlying issues that contribute to homelessness, such as housing affordability, mental health, and addiction. This could involve a combination of measures, including increasing the supply of affordable housing through subsidies, rent control, and zoning changes. Providing mental health and addiction treatment services to homeless individuals. Implementing a statewide strategy for addressing homelessness that coordinates resources and policies across cities and counties. Supporting programs that prevent homelessness, such as job training and financial assistance. Now, let's talk about the impact of homelessness on California's communities. For starters, homelessness can lead to increased crime and public safety concerns. But it's not just about crime. Homelessness also has a significant impact on public health. The streets are not exactly a sterile environment. The lack of access to proper hygiene, sanitation, and medical care can lead to a host of health issues, from communicable diseases like tuberculosis to chronic illnesses like diabetes. It's like living in a petri dish with no lid. Microscope. And let's not forget about the impact on tourism and the local economy. As California's homelessness crisis continues to worsen, the impact on tourism and the local economy is becoming increasingly apparent. After all, who wants to vacation in a place where you're likely to step over human waste and used syringes on your way to the beach? Poop. But it's not just about the ick factor. The perception of California as a state with a severe homelessness crisis can deter potential tourists and investors, resulting in lost revenue for local businesses and a negative impact on the state's overall economy. It's like having a pimple on your nose during prom season. And the impact doesn't stop there. Homelessness can also strain local resources, including emergency services, public transportation, and social services. Imagine this: a homeless individual with a mental health issue has a breakdown in a public space. Police are called to the scene, paramedics arrive to provide medical assistance, and the individual is eventually taken to a hospital for evaluation. This not only takes up valuable resources that could be used for other emergencies, but also costs taxpayers a pretty penny. Money mouth face. The strain on resources isn't just limited to emergency services. Public transportation is also a frequent flashpoint. As homelessness increases in California's cities, public transportation becomes a battleground for some of the most visible and distressing manifestations of the crisis. From people using buses and trains as makeshift shelters to public urination and disorderly behavior,